Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. And if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Wednesday, Major League Baseball. Next up, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander returns to the mound for the Stros. Cooper Criswell going for Boston. Now, Verlander, before the injury, had a 3.95 ERA and 57 innings of work, but I didn't really love what I saw from him in those innings. You know, his strikeout numbers were below a K per inning, not what we're used to seeing from Verlander. And especially before the injury, the last couple of starts, they weren't great, giving up 8 earned runs and 10 innings of work, 14 hits, and 3 bombs to go with it. But Verlander, in his couple of rehab starts in the minor leagues, he made 2 of them. He pitched pretty well. His strikeout numbers were there, and I feel confident backing him in this game, especially with Cooper Criswell on the other side, not in the best form, giving up 6 earned runs in that last game against the Orioles in only 3 1/3 innings. I think the Astros can get to Criswell early. I think Verlander could put together 4 or 5 solid innings, and I think the Astros win this game, potentially cover the run line as well. Next, we'll go to San Francisco as the Giants take on the White Sox. We got Garrett Crochet and Logan Webb as the starters. Logan Webb, we've talked about it throughout his career. He's been a lot better at Oracle Park than on the road. Definitely this season, the same thing. A 4.11 ERA on the road, a 2.26 ERA at home with a 7-3 winning record. He pitched his last game at home. It was excellent. 7 2/3 innings, a shutout ball, 7 strikeouts, an 11-8 ground ball to fly ball ratio. Exactly what you want to see from Logan Webb. And now his last 2 home starts have been excellent. Really, last 3. He had a complete game against the A's. He pitched well against the Tigers through 7 innings, and then that last game against Atlanta. He's in great form facing a White Sox team that's got some of the worst offensive numbers in the last couple of months and overall this season. So I think Webb can put together another 7+ innings strong performance. Garrett Crochet had a nice outing that last game against Houston, but doesn't really pitch deep into ball games anymore. I think that the White Sox bullpen, even if the Giants don't get to Crochet, which, they've been a solid lineup against lefties, so they very well could, but even if they don't, they should be able to get to that bullpen, find a way to win this game and cover the run line. It's a pretty steep price, but I'm still going to go with the San Francisco Giants here on the run line. Next up, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Miami Marlins. No official starter for Arizona, but Roddery Munoz should be going for Miami. It's tough not to go with the Diamondbacks in a game like this when they're facing a right-handed starting pitcher that's given up a lot of sharp contact this year. 22 home runs given up in 78 innings for Munoz, including another home run in that last game against the Mets. And the Diamondbacks just have great power numbers in the last month against righties and in the month of August. In general, I think they'll be able to get to Munoz for quite a few extra base hits and home runs, even though it's at Lone Depot Park. And while the Marlins bullpen's improved, so does the Diamondbacks. In the month of August, sub-4 ERA and a sub-4 xFIP, exactly what you're looking for a team that, their bullpen wasn't the best a couple of months ago. So I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks here on the run line on the road. Next up, the Minnesota Twins taking on the San Diego Padres. We got Simeon Woods Richardson and Matt Waldron on the mound. And Matt Waldron not in the best form right now, and he struggled in his last game at Coors Field. We can, kind of excuse that. A lot of starting pitchers are going to struggle at Coors, but even before that game, he gave up 5 earned runs to the Marlins. A couple of starts back against the Dodgers gave up 5 runs. So when you look at this Minnesota Twins lineup, how well they've done against right-handed pitching in August, I worry about Waldron even at Petco Park. And on the other side, Simeon Woods Richardson's pitched well overall this season, but not really in the best in his last 5 games. And then when you look at the Padres, they've been very strong against right-handed pitching in August. Low strikeout rate, they get on base. And I think that could be an issue for Woods Richardson early in this game. I like both of these bullpens, so I'm just going to go with the over in the first 5 innings. I think we'll see the majority of the scoring in the first half of the game. Next up, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the Washington Nationals. Tanner Gordon and Mitchell Parker are your starters. This is a tough one because both starting pitchers are not coming off their best starts, that's for sure. Parker gave up 9 earned runs and 10 base hits against the Phillies. That was a 13-3 Nationals loss, and the Nationals are 2-3 in his last 5 starts. Tanner Gordon wasn't able to get out of the first inning in his game against the Diamondbacks. 2/3 of an inning, 3 earned runs, 4 total runs, a couple of walks, a few base hits as well. And the Rockies are 1-4 in his last 5 games. So for me, the difference maker in this one is the fact that Parker is pitching a lot better at home this season. He's got an ERA of 5.98 on the road, but a 3 flat at home with a 4-2 winning record. So I think he can bounce back here. Also, the Rockies have just not been great against left-handed pitching in general in the last 30 days. So I think Parker bounces back. I'm going to roll the Nationals in this one on the money line and run line. Next up, the Guardians and the Yankees. Still waiting for a starter for Cleveland, but we got Nestor Cortez going for the Yankees. And, Nestor Cortez, it was nice to see him put together a bounce-back start against the White Sox back on August 13th. It was 7 innings, a shutout ball with 9 strikeouts in a 4-1 Yankees win. But that's the White Sox, a team that's been near the bottom of the league against lefties from the beginning of the season. And now when you look at this matchup against the Guardians, Cleveland's made some big-time improvements this year against lefties. The last couple of seasons, Cleveland's not been so great against lefties, but they are now, in the month of August, top 10 in isolated power, and they were able to get to Cortez back on April 14th. It was still a while ago, but still 4 earned runs, 2 home runs, and 5 base hits, and only 4 innings of work. Ended up being a Guardians victory. No official starter for the Guardians, but this has been a strong bullpen this year, so I think we get a pretty good pitching game from Cleveland. I think they'll be able to get to Nestor Cortez early for a few runs. I'm going to go with the Guardians in this one on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. We got Nick Martinez and Yariel Rodriguez on the mound. Yariel Rodriguez has been excellent at Rogers Center this year. In fact, he has not given up more than 3 earned runs in a single home start. His last game at home was against the Athletics. It was 5 2/3 of 1-run ball, 5 strikeouts. He does a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground when he's pitching at the Rogers Center. Nick Martinez, I mentioned, don't really love him as a starting pitcher. He's been better recently, though, as a starter. We'll give him credit. But that last game against the Royals wasn't really his best work. 6 innings, 8 base hits, 3 earned runs to go with it, with a home run and only 4 strikeouts. I'm going to roll with the Blue Jays in this game on the money line at Rogers Center. Next up, we see the Phillies and the Braves in the NL East. We got Max Fried and Aaron Nola on the mound. Now, these two starting pitchers have faced off twice this year, and both teams won one of those games. The Braves won the first one back on March 30th. It was a 12-4 win. They were able to get to Nola for 6 earned runs and 4 1/3 innings, but the Phillies were able to get to Fried. He wasn't able to get out of the first inning in that one. 3 walks, 3 earned runs in the first inning, and that it ended up being a Braves comeback victory. But on the other side, when you look at the second game back on July 5th, it was a 8-6 Phillies win. Nola redeemed himself in that one. He went 6 innings with 3-run balls, so quality start. But Fried struggled yet again in that game against Philadelphia. So 2 games against the Phillies where he's not been his best. He gave up 5 earned runs, 11 base hits, and a home run in that one. A couple of home runs, actually. And now when you look at Fried in the month of August, he's returning from the injury. Doesn't really look to be 100%. I mean, 13 2/3 innings, 7.9 ERA in the month of August. His control's been really off, especially the 11 walks and 13 2/3 is really the concern for me. The Phillies have been great against left-handed pitching. Nola's coming off a really good outing against the Nationals. It's tough not to go with the Phillies in this one, in my opinion. I think Fried will be able to get back to his form, but right now I got to go with the Phillies on the run line on the road. Next up, we'll go to the NL Central as the Brewers take on the Reds. We got Tobias Myers and Kyle Gibson on the mound. Gibson not in the best form so far in August, an ERA above 6, and he's also not pitched too well at Busch Stadium, an ERA of 4.73. With how well Myers has pitched recently and how well he's pitched on the road, I got to roll with the Brewers in this game. I think they have the better starting pitcher, the better lineup, and the better bullpen. So give me Milwaukee in this one on the money line. Baltimore Orioles taking on the New York Mets, where you see Zach Eflin and Sean Manaea as your projected starters. Manaea's been pitching well. He's got, the Mets are 4-1 in his last 5 starts, but he has given up 6 earned runs and 6 walks to go with it in his last 2 games, his last 10 innings of work. And when you look at Zach Eflin on the other side with how well he's pitched with his new team, it's really tough to go against Baltimore here, in my opinion. The Orioles are 4-0 in Eflin's first 4 starts with the team. All quality starts, so 3 earned runs or fewer, 6+ innings. The strikeout numbers are there. Only 2 walks in those 4 games combined. And they took down some tough teams along the way. The division-leading Guardians, the Red Sox, who've been playing great ball in the second half. The Rays have even on the road against Tampa Bay, your former team, not an easy matchup. So I got to roll with the Orioles in this game. I like their matchup against Manaea, and I'm going to go with Baltimore on the money line. Next up, we'll go to Wrigley Field as the Tigers take on the Cubs. No official starter for Detroit, but Jameson Taillon should be going for Chicago. I'm going to lean towards the Tigers right now. Taillon's not in the best form. 9 earned runs his last 2 games, and one of those games was 9 base hits, 5 earned runs, and 2 home runs against the Chicago White Sox. Not what you want to see. So an ERA above 5 in August. I think the Tigers will be able to get to him. Give me Detroit in this one, and a very slight lean. Next up, we see the Angels and the Royals from Kauffman Stadium. No official starter for the Halos, but Michael Lorenzen should be going for the Royals. Michael Lorenzen is not my favorite option in most games. His control's off sometimes. We've seen him walk 55 guys in 117 innings this year. His strikeout numbers aren't the best. 86 Ks in 117. The expected numbers aren't great because of that, but I got to give him credit. He's pitching well with his new team. 3 earned runs or fewer in his first 3 starts with the Royals. And he also has a pretty favorable matchup here. I mean, the Angels have not been great against righties in August. They've got a steep strikeout rate. They're second to last in OPS, second to last in isolated power. So I still think Lorenzen could put together a strong outing. And, facing his former team here, I'm going to roll with the Royals in this one. I think their bats also back up Lorenzen. Even if he doesn't have his best start, I think the Royals' bats will be there for him. So give me the Royals in this one on the money line and run line. Next up, the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Oakland Athletics. Ryan Pepiot and Mitch Spence are your starters. I mentioned I didn't really like the matchup for Ryan Pepiot in that last game against the Diamondbacks because it was his first start back in over a month. It's against the Diamondbacks, who have been great against righties in the month of August. They have a high walk rate, which Pepiot's had some issues with the control this year, but that was a really good outing for him. He only gave up 2 unearned runs, so no earned runs in 5 1/3, 5 strikeouts, only the 1 walk, no home runs given up. He's done a great job recently at limiting sharp contact. So while the A's are a tough matchup as well on the road against a team that's been a lot better offensively in the second half of the year, I still think Pepiot's the much better option in this game. Spence gave up 5 earned runs in that last game against the Mets. I think that Pepiot's going to be good enough here for the Rays to win. Don't necessarily love this Rays offense, but I think it'll be good enough here for a Rays victory on the road. Next up, the Seattle Mariners taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. We got Logan Gilbert and Jack Flaherty on the mound. Jack Flaherty may not be off to the best start with his new team, but his strikeout numbers are still there, and that's really what counts in a game like this against a Mariners team. They strike out left and right. I think Flaherty could put together a bounce-back start here, and Logan Gilbert's been strong this season, all-star level, season, but he's not been as good on the road. He's still been solid, but not as good. And last year we saw him pitch against the Dodgers. He struggled mightily in that game, giving up 5 earned runs. And I just think that the Dodgers will be able to get to him for a few runs early, and that should be enough. The Mariners' offense just is so inconsistent right now, and with all those strikeouts, I got to roll the Dodgers in this one on the run line. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comments section below. And again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.